we had news of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford being done. ESPN dropped it, but right, it was one little small. It was like almost like it was in small print. The fight is done, but the lawyers got to work out.
What's good, everybody? What's good? It's your boy, Cardinal Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me. And we are back for another one. Alright, y'all, we got them new topics. Errol Spence still waiting on Terence Bud Crawford to sign contract. Have we been lied to? Alright, y'all, so we got news a couple days ago that the fight was 99.9% done, but there was a slight holdup that they mentioned in the ESPN article. And I normally go off of ESPN articles because they are more official. The news has to be vetted, and they have to do their due diligence before they can put out articles. So 90% to 100% of what's in the article is factual and true. But there was something in that article, if you actually read the article yourself and didn't just go off what people were posting, there was some wording in the article that read, the fight is done, everything's been agreed to. That's why most people were reporting the fight is agreed to, but everything's agreed to, but the lawyers have to clean up the wording. And if you ever signed a contract, I've signed a few of them in my lifetime, some good ones, some bad ones. But there's always wording in those contracts. You might not understand why is it there. And that's for lawyers to interpret. The average person doesn't have a lawyer handy when they sign these contracts, and that's how you end up getting screwed over on paperwork. So, Terence Crawford has a lawyer. He has money to pay for people that understand legalese. And because of that, this is why we're having to have lawyers clean up the wording. Now, that might take a few days. That might take a few weeks. We don't know. We don't know how thick or how small this contract is. But since this is a big fight for a lot of money, the contract's probably about this thick. So it could take them a week. It could take them 2 weeks. We don't know how long it's going to take them to clean up the wording of the contract so both fighters feel ready to completely sign off on it. Because once you sign it, it's a done deal. Now, does that mean that the fight is going to be held up for another month, 2 months? I would say no, because it sounds like they've already secured a venue for the fight. So I don't understand why this isn't anything other than procedure. And they already know that it could take a few days or a few weeks. So they've probably already accounted for that amount of time anyway. So I don't think they're even worried about the fact that the lawyers have to clean some stuff up in the contract. Now, both fighters have been training for a while. I've said it before that it was kind of fishy that they waited for so long to get the contract ready, or one side was waiting so long for something that was inevitable anyway. There was no way Errol Spence was going to come off his price to make the fight. So for one side to keep holding it up, it seemed to me like there was something fishy going on behind the scenes. Now you got Terence Crawford coming out looking all blown up and big. I'm not saying he's doing something he shouldn't be doing, but I'm saying that looks fishy. Now, is that going to win him the fight if that is what he's doing? I don't think so. I think Errol Spence has naturally been at that weight. And when you've naturally been at a weight for a while, you've gotten used to carrying the weight, he can go bigger. And he'll probably be much bigger on fight night, which is why Terence Crawford is probably bulking up to try to absorb punches. The bad thing about bulking up to absorb punches is that going to slow you down quicker into the fight. We know Errol Spence is used to going through welterweight wars. And he's been to 12 rounds with plenty of welterweight opponents. We haven't seen that out of Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is normally knocking a guy out that's past his prime, a little overdue. And it's halfway through the fight, and he's making those fighters look silly, and he really hasn't had to go all the way to the other bell. We know Errol Spence can drag a fight out. He has a good jab. He knows how to work a ring. He's great at what he does. So how is that going to impact Terence Crawford is the real question. How is he going to carry that weight into this fight, and is that going to ultimately lose him the fight because he tried to come in too heavy? Now, how long is this process going to play out? Because we all, as fight fans, I think just want to see the best fight the best. Listen, this is the last step, and I think Terence Crawford, it bodes him well to carry this thing out as long as he can because I don't think he's going to leave that stadium or whatever venue they're in with that title belt. Errol Spence is coming to get it, and he's going to get it. Understand one thing, this is a co-promotion. It was explained in the paperwork if you read it. It's a well, in the article ESPN put out, because they haven't released the paperwork to the public yet. ESPN, I'm pretty sure, has seen some version of the paperwork, or they wouldn't have reported on it, or they were told something about a version of the paperwork. And this goes for all y'all saying that this contract isn't real. All the way up until last week, I had somebody tell me that the contract wasn't real. Well, what do you have to say now? But, you know, I'm pretty sure that ESPN saw some version of the contract, or someone reported on some version. So they know that the fight is really close. The venue's pretty much set up, and they're not going to set a venue date and then turn around and cancel it, because you have to pay fines and stuff behind doing things like that. So we're this close to this fight happening. I do think that Bud Crawford, it's an uphill battle for Bud at this point, and whether he can sustain Errol Spence Jr. for 12 full rounds, and he has enough firepower, and his body is built well enough to sustain those type of punches for 12 rounds. Hey, I don't know. This is uncharted territory Terence Crawford's going into. What I do know is Errol Spence Jr. has been here before. He's seen it all as a welterweight. For him to lose this fight would mean he had to do everything wrong he possibly could. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there if you want a response. It's your boy, Cardinal, Bud Crawford, or E.S. Red, if that's what you want to call me. And we are...
Louisville, Kentucky, 502.